Welcome back to the secret underground lair. This particular segment for our upcycled pallet coffee table has a bit of a problem. And the problem is that this join here is not square. So I wind up this piece tails way up, as you can see there, to the tune of about a half an inch. So what I'm going to be doing is I've attached this flat, I'll call this the flat side, this is the upside. So I got the flat side attached onto this piece of MDF here, and I'm going to run it through the saw to cut it off here. And then I'm going to mount this side back down and cut it off on the B side of the blade, so that I get that back down to a square edge. I'd rather deal with this now than try and have to route that flat and lose so much off this edge here that it would look funny. So I'm going to deal with that now. Now these pieces just come together perfectly. There's a good example of using the A side, B side of the blade. That just worked out really well. So I'm going to glue these back together. Be much happier. So this goes back into our little jig. Okay, so I just got that piece that we cut, glued back together, clamped down, and that is sitting nice and flat. So huge improvement, and I'm glad I took the time to make that little correction. So I'm getting ready to join all the top together, obviously, as you can tell. And where these smaller pieces were relatively easy to kind of keep flat, apart from the one that I screwed up and is currently being clamped again. I'm a little concerned when I get to the larger table here and gluing all these segments together. I'm a little concerned about keeping these as level as possible. So fortunately, new tool in the shop, a biscuit cutter. Thank you, Keith. Appreciate this a lot. So just in time. So I'm going to be using the biscuit cutter to cut a biscuit into each edge here. Fortunately, I have these guys lined up, so I have a line there. I know exactly where I want it to be. So it's easy to make another mark down here. All right, let's make those cuts. It's a lot easier than a doweling jig, I can tell you that. Of course, you want to make sure that the cut that you make for the biscuit is clear. It makes a real nice little slot, so I'm happy with that. Slots into this side. Probably don't have you at a good angle so you can see what I'm doing because I stand in front of it, don't I? Let me move the camera. So I have the line here where I want the biscuit to be cut. There's a line here on the front of the cutter. I just get those two guys lined up and I'm good. think I'm gonna like that tool. And just for fun, let's see how they line up. Yes, indeed, I did mess up on this last cut. I did not get this flush. So as a result, I wasn't holding it down. As a result, that biscuit is a little bit high on one side. I'm going to try that again. This biscuit won't be very effective, I'm afraid. It's a better alignment of the hole, but kind of a pointless biscuit now. At least I can't go beyond in one direction, so it's gonna work. Better than nothing, but lesson learned. Okay, now I'm gonna cut some biscuits on the other side over here. Oh, I like that. So here's our top now. I got 2 biscuits here. I got 2 biscuits here. Again, thank you, Keith. Timing is perfect. Really pleased with how that's going to work. I'm going to use that tool a lot. So now I'm just waiting for a little bit longer. Actually, that should be set. Our other piece that we glued together, should be able to bring that back over here. We'll set it in, put some biscuits in that, and then we'll concentrate on our final little key segment. So here's our table with all of the segments in place except our key segment. I put little biscuits into this joint here, so that'll fit up nicely when it's glued. I really love the way that levels out the surface. And then for our key segment, my plan was simply this. I placed the key segment into the slot that it needs to be and trace the lines where that's going to fit. So I drew a pencil line down here and a pencil line down here where I can cut that piece to fit right into this slot. Now, I have come to understand that this is not a conventional approach to building a segmented table. And Atlas 2008, 2005? Anyway, Atlas, sorry, thank you for your tip. And Aldoon, thank you for your tip. They suggested what I should be doing is building this in 2 halves, make a perfectly straight cut down here, and then I can join the 2 halves together. I do have a problem at the moment though, in that it probably wasn't, by not taking that approach from the beginning, I'm left with segments that are slightly less than a half, and in order to build them up to about a half or a little over a half, I still have this clamping problem. I'm sure I could solve it, but I haven't solved it yet. So what I thought I would do is continue with the current approach that I'm on. I may regret it, and if that's the case, then we'll revert back to what Atlas and Aldoon have been suggesting. So I'm going to start with this, and in fact on this piece what I'm going to do is cut it with the bandsaw and then hand plane it to match these edges here. So I'll take this out and cut it on the bandsaw. So that cut on the bandsaw went pretty much as expected. I stayed just outside the line. I touched the line here. You know, my bandsaw skills aren't quite the ninja skills of Matthias Wendell, but I'm getting better. Getting better. So I'll do a little bit of touch up, but let's just see how this fits as it is. And that's precisely what I'm expecting down here at this end. I'm a little fat there, so I'm going to go over and do some hand planing, take out this little corner here, and probably take out just a little bit there. Then we'll do another fit. This is going to be a lot of back and forth. So a little bit of back and forth. We have this now coming down to a nice point up here. I'm going to put on a ratchet strap now and just see how this will come together. The moment of truth. So I have the ratchet strap on, brought everything in tight together. All of my biscuit joints are looking good. All those seams are very good. This, our key segment, I still need a little bit of work on that. I'm just going to take a little bit off the tip here, back to about here. Just to give us a little bit more closure here. I have a bit of a gap on the outside, just at the outside edge here. The tip is perfect, but out here I'm a little bit of room. So just going to take a little bit off that tip. Come back for another fit. Okay, a fair amount of back and forth with the hand plane, but I think I have this fitting as good as it's going to get. And again, all of our biscuit joins are good and tight. There will be a little bit of filler required here because I managed, with the hand plane, I got the inside taper just not perfectly flush, so it leaned a little bit and I had to square it off. I only did as much as I needed to, but I am binding nicely from this edge to this edge and from this edge to this edge. I know I have a good tight fit there, and the glue will hold it well. So, yeah, now ready for glue up. So I have glue on all the joins. Now it's a case of getting the clamp back on. And let's pin it down. There's a little challenge. We'll make sure that doesn't slip off. And I'm going to give a little persuasion just to get these biscuit joins in tight. Okay, I'm going to leave that to set for a little bit, and we'll come back a couple hours when the glue's dried. And guess what? It's time for a bite of lunch. And there is the top all glued. I've given it a little chance to set. It's not setting as fast as I want, which could be attributed to two things. One is that it's a little colder in the shop than normal. But I am a little concerned that I may have left the glue out of its heated drawer. And it got a little cold, and so it has been altered a little bit. So I'm gonna have to watch that on the next glue up when it's warm in the shop. And I may have to replace a bottle of glue. So I'm gonna call that a video for today. I'm just gonna do a little bit of touch up with some filler on some of these cracks here, so that tomorrow, when I'm back in the shop, I'm gonna use the belt sander on the top portion. I'm not even gonna use the, I don't think at this point, I'm gonna use the bed rail rotor sled to do this side of the table, but I will definitely use the bed rail rotor sled to take care of all these differing width pieces here on the underside of the table. So the bed rail rotor sled will clean this stuff up. Belt sander will clean this up. So stay tuned for our next installment, Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I will see you on the next video.